That is kind of a tough question, but it's mostly, I mean, it's just fun. But it is something like, something in between like the feeling of riding a motorcycle and riding a bicycle. Because you're not going nearly as fast as a motorcycle. They're way easier to handle than motorcycles and maneuver. And I don't know, there's just something about how agile they are that makes it feel kind of like riding a bicycle, but kind of like riding a motorcycle too. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's way more carefree than riding. Like when I had a motorcycle, a running one, I didn't really like riding it in the city because it was just always a pain and sort of cumbersome. But it's not really like that with a moped, except when you break down. But but that's just part of it. It's just like driving a V-dub, you know. You develop this sense of community because I know that like if I break down and I can't fix my bike, you know, there's several people that I could call in the mosquito fleet that will come pick me up. And I've had to pick people up late at night and early in the morning, but you know, they'd do it for me, so. Yeah. But yeah. Well, it started when Brendan moved up here from San Diego when he graduated high school. And him and a couple of his friends had mopeds down there. But when he came up, his hadn't run in a while. He brought it up and it was sitting under our deck for a while. And one day, him and Greg Dark and me just decided like, let's get it running. And Brendan didn't really know how to work on it. None of us did. So we just kind of started trying to figure out how to get it to run. And we did. We got it to run again. And I rode it around the block. And it was fun. So like 3 or 4 days later, we were driving past this lame scooter shop called Interbase Scooters. That just sucks, but I was like, I'm just gonna stop in there and see if they have like used moped or anything for sale. And they had this 79 Sox Westlake for sale for like $300. That had like 300 miles on it. It was in really good shape, so I bought it. And then we fixed that one. So like within like a week, both Brendan and I had it, and that's how I got into it. And then like a couple weeks later, it seemed like all our friends had them. Just pretty much the same thing. We'd let them ride it, and then everybody would get the bug.
Yeah, it's funny that, like, just like in a matter of a couple of weeks, like everybody had them.
Oh yeah, like when we I mean, we went from like, well, me and Brendan to like 12 people in like a month or something like that, which is pretty fast. And it was at that time it was just like all our friends.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. Usually, well, let me just say, you know, we're a moped gang. We all like mopeds. We all share a lot of the same interests, and so we hang out and ride mopeds and party. I don't know. That's probably usually what I say to most people. Sometimes I, you know, throw the culture part of it in there, which is also interesting to only a few people. So.
How would you describe like that moped culture?
Oh, it's.
If you need to eat, I can let you eat.
No, it's hard to describe. I don't know. Basically, the moped culture is eat, sleep, breathe. You know, mopeds. moped, 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 you know. The whole reason why people got into mopeds in the first place is because they were so cheap, you know, the old school, and you get that satisfaction of, you know, resurrecting something that old, you know, that's old. My moped's older than I am, you know. And I think that's probably the main thing, for me at least.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your real name?
Chicago. Oh, Kurt.
Yeah. Kurt what?
Kurt Best.
And what do they call you?
They call me Chicago or Squeaks.
Why do they call you that?
Chicago because I moved here from Chicago. They call me Chicago Kurt, even though I'm not really from Chicago. And the leader of the Petty Cash, the Moped Army out in Chicago, is named Kurt. So he should probably be Kurt from Chicago, whatever.
Yeah.
Squeaks is because I have chronic hiccups. Hiccup a lot, and it makes a squeaking sound.
Okay, so what just happened to you recently that's significant?
This happened to me. I got voted in. My probation period finally ended. And now I'm one of them. Mosquito.
So, I don't know if you can talk about like your probationary period, like what that involves, or...
It's, you know, basically there's too many people in the city and people don't show up. They want to make sure you're actually going to show up and be a member of the club, contribute. So if you're new to town or whatever, you get a moped, you get to wait 3 months. If you show up all the time, also someone has to sponsor you. After your probation period's up, they have a vote to decide if you get to be let in. Yeah, it's kind of weird because every other city I've lived, well, I don't know about Kalamazoo, they might have that too, but in Chicago, when I lived there, they told me, yeah, if you show up a second time, you're basically in.
Yeah.
It was pretty shocking to me, but it is nice. I like the organization here, so I've got a legitimate system going now. So.
Cool.
Do you think the fleet is it a gang, a club, or a clique, or all of these?
I think it could be called all of them. We're not a gang in the sense that we're running organized crime, at least that we're willing to admit. But there is definitely a gang mentality, and especially when we're on the road together. Like, you know, if one car starts messing with one bike, you know, it'll be swarmed pretty quickly by, you know, 20 to 50 of us. So, and there's like, you know, people do take care of each other and that sort of thing. And it's definitely much more than a club. So I think it would fall more into the gang mentality a lot more. Because, yeah, I mean, clubs generally, people pay their dues, they show up to the meetings whenever they are, and that's about the extent of it. But Mosquito Fleet is pretty much like a daily life for a lot of people. Like, some people, it's all they do, and like their only friends are Mosquito Fleet people. And they, you know, a lot of us live together, a lot of us work together, you know, hang out together all the time. So I think it's definitely more than a club. But, cool.
Do you see any similarities between like kind of the early like motorcycle gangs? You know, kind of.
Yeah, I do. I mean, we kind of modeled ourselves, like organizationally, after motorcycle gangs and the way we run things. Mostly because I'm really fascinated with them. Like, I love the old bad like B-movie motorcycle movies and stuff. And yeah, there's definitely a similarity there. So.